Two pro-life measures once again have stalled on Capitol Hill. As we told you yesterday, Senate Democrats blocked the measures. One would have banned most abortions after 20 weeks. The other would have protected babies who survive an abortion attempt. Majority Leader Mitch McConnell accuses Democrats of bowing to radical demands of the left. But Democratic Senator Patty Murray calls the attempted votes a crass political calculation by Republicans. Joining us now to discuss the legislation is Melanie Israel, research associate at the Heritage Foundation's DeVos Center for Religion and Civil Society. Melanie, welcome back to the show. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so do you think it's a surprise that neither of these proposals made it to a vote?
Unfortunately, I wouldn't necessarily say that it's surprising. However, I think it's very beneficial for the Senate to hold votes on these issues because the American people deserve to know where their members stand on issues like late-term abortion and providing medical care for born-alive infant newborn babies.
Archbishop Joseph Naumann, head of the USCCB Committee on Pro-Life Activities, said in a statement yesterday that most Americans strongly support the two proposals. What are your thoughts on that statement?
He's exactly right. We know from polling year after year after year, these are not outliers. This is every year we find that polls show that regardless of a person's political affiliation, their philosophical beliefs, wherever they fall in the political spectrum, the vast majority of Americans are not in favor of elective late-term abortion. They're not in favor of denying care for newborn babies. And so it's incredibly disappointing that our national consensus is not reflected by our elected representatives and current federal law.
Now, Melanie, what do you think's next for these two bills, and for that matter, any pro-life measure on Capitol Hill?
You know, I think that despite the fact that the result of the votes were disappointing, that doesn't mean that Congress should stop talking about the issue. And there are going to continue to be opportunities for members to stand for the cause of life, particularly during the appropriations process. There are things that members are going to have to stand resolute against pro-abortion attempts to weaken current law. We know that the administration has made a number of gains for the pro-life movement in the regulatory process. And unfortunately, a lot of members on Capitol Hill don't like that. And they're trying to roll back that progress that the administration has made. And so in the months to come, as Congress finishes up this session going into 2020, there's going to still be numerous opportunities for them to defend innocent human life.
Do you think there's any good news for pro-lifers that came from yesterday?
I think it is good to see that both of these votes reflected that there's bipartisan support for these measures. Unfortunately, that support is from mostly Republicans and a handful of Democrats, but you know what? That's better than nothing. And I think a lot of people can be grateful to know that this is not a completely partisan issue, and that's even more so reflected with the general American public.
Well, Melanie, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your insight with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.